Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry that I was not available to do a video last week. I had finals and I'm in grad school, so for my finals I have to do like papers and presentations, and since I like to wait to the last minute to do everything, it got pretty stressful. Today I am going to keep it kind of light and talk about some of my adventures when I was living in Miami, especially out on the club scene, mainly on the club scene. I have like two stories in mind that I want to tell. So today we'll be eating, once again, sushi, and I also have some fried dumplings. So the first story that I want to tell is kind of a fun one, kind of a funny one, I think. Well, at least it was funny to me. I ended up on TMZ with Desean Jackson, looking like I was trying to like get in there when I wasn't. The pictures are really funny. You can tell that I'm sauced, like so sauced. I had a friend that I made the year after I graduated from the University of Miami. Her name was Misty. Gorgeous, gorgeous girl. Like fucking model gorgeous. She is a model, actually, I'm pretty sure. Still to this day. But when she went out, she got all the attention. And I just loved like being with her. Like, I'm not a hater. Like, I'm the type of pretty girl that likes to see other pretty girls win. So when I'm in the club with her, when I was in the club with her, she would get so much attention and I would just like love it. And one of the guys she got attention from was Desean Jackson. I remember we somehow ended up, where were we? I think we were at Cameo. We were at Cameo. And somehow we end up in the same section as him. And then I turn and I see Misty dancing on him. And I'm like, yes, bitch, get it. I was so excited. So that night happened. But that wasn't the night I ended up on TMZ with him. The night I ended up on TMZ with him was like a couple of weeks later. We went to a club called Dream. And Misty had gotten us into a section because he recognized her from before. And this was just when he had signed his contract with the Redskins. He had just left the Eagles and signed his contract with the Redskins. And I told him, I was like, I'm a huge Eagles fan and I'm very hurt by this decision. I was like, congratulations, but I'm very hurt. And he was like, I'm sorry, you know, money is money. And I was like, I feel that. I'm so terrified that I'm going to spill that sauce all over my white pants. So let me put that down. So yeah. So we're in the club. We're partying. We're having a good time. I don't even notice the camera there. And after that one time, I did not talk to Desean for the whole night. Like, I was not on his top at all. But in the pictures, it looks like I was. It looks like I was like going home with him that night, but I didn't. And there's this really funny picture of Misty drinking champagne out of his rosé bottle. And I'm looking at her like, bitch, are you gonna share? It was a fun time. So the next day, or the week after, I think it was like a Monday or Tuesday or something, I was at work. And then somebody sends me the link. I don't even remember who it was. But the caption, you can still find it on TMZ. If you Google TMZ, Desean Jackson, models and bottles, or bottles and models, whatever it was, then it'll come up. and you will see me in like the majority of the pictures. And it was funny because I wasn't even like thinking about being a model at that time. So the fact that they were calling me a model, you know, a bitch was feeling herself. After on, I went on to like party with like Wale and Rick Ross and some other people, but Kyle Lowry, Rudy Gay. Ooh, that was a really fun one too. Let me tell you that story. When I was working at Prime 112, I was a hostess there. And one night I was looking at the list of people that were coming in, as I always like to do, because I like to know when somebody famous is coming in, if they're going to be on the list. A lot of times people are so famous that they're not even on a reservation list, but Kyle Lowry had a big reservation. He had a big party, so he was on the reservation list, and I saw his name and I was like, oh my god. So a little bit of background. I actually met Kyle Lowry when I was 16 years old, and my dad used to take me to the season when my dad had season tickets to the Rockets games, and he used to take me to all the Rockets games. And my dad's tickets were 4 rows behind the players' bench. So the players could always see me, and I could see them when they were in their huddles. And I met him at Yao Ming's fundraiser in 2009, literally like 10 years ago. I met him there. Anyway, so flash forward to 2013, summer 2013, when he was at Prime 112. I go up to him after I like give everybody their menus. I go up to him and I was like, hey, I don't think you remember me, but we met like 4 or 5 years ago when we were at Yao Ming's fundraiser, and I used to go to a lot of your games. And he was like, oh my god, I remember you. He was like, we used to talk about you. We used to wonder if that was your dad and how old you were. You used to go to the games with some old guy, right? I was like, he's not that old. He was like, yeah, but like old enough to be your dad. I was like, yeah, he was my dad. He was like, yeah. I was like, I was 16. He was like, okay, well, how old are you now? I was like, I'm 21. So that night after Prime 112, I went with him and Rudy Gay, oh, his fine ass, out to, did we go to Cameo? I think we went to Cameo. And it was a really fun time. And that night I met the coolest Australian girls, these twins named Melissa and Melanie, and their little sister Amy. And we hung out in the living room of their condo at the W like all night long until they decided to leave. I was just there. I had no clue where Kyle was. I didn't know where Rudy was. I just knew that I was in a living room of a condo having a great old time. Basically, the next day, I found Kyle, and nothing ever happened with us. We never hooked up, but he was super nice, and he gave me a lot of money for my cab, and I was very, very appreciative. Now, speaking of cab money, this is the final story that I'm going to tell of my time in Miami, and it's a little bit of a doozy. And it doesn't involve a celebrity or anything like that. One night, I was close to graduating from the University of Miami, and Allegra and I went out to Club Play. And I went out to meet with this guy that I had met before. I thought he was going to put me on to some really cool stuff, but he wasn't. He was just a scrub. Anyway, Allegra and I went out to Club Play. And she wanted to leave at like 1 a.m, just when I was getting drunk and starting to have fun. And I was like, okay, girl, you can leave. Now, Allegra was the one with the car. So she was like, how are you going to get home? Like, bitch, you don't have money to get a cab home. And the cab home from South Beach to Coral Gables was like $50. No lie, one way. So I go to the guy that I was there to meet, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll give her cab money home. Don't worry about it. Let her stay. So I was like, okay, like, hit me up when you get home. I said, okay, girl, I will. So then I'm at the club having a good time, basically by myself. And then like 3 o'clock rolls around, I decide to leave. And I'm outside about to hail a cab with my $50 that I had. And then this guy pulls up in a Mercedes, and he's like, whoa, 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 where are you going? Now, you have to understand that clubs in Miami close at like 5, 6 in the morning. So he was just getting there, I guess, when he felt the party was getting started. And I was like, I'm going home. I am taking a cab back to Coral Gables. And I think he asked me my name. I think he told me his. And he offered to give me a ride home. He was like, let me give you a ride home. And I was like, but I don't know you. You could be somebody scary. He was like, no, I'm not scary. And so at that time, you have to understand, I was a very broke college student. So I decided to go with him and pocket that $50. All I remember was I got in the Mercedes in the front seat. He zoomed off. I got so violently sick, I told him to pull over. I puked all over out the side of the car, closed the door, and then everything went black. Black, I tell you. The next day, I wake up. And I wake up in a place where I have no clue where I am. It was a beautiful apartment. I was in a nice bed, a nice big bed, like all the way on the other side, tucked in on my back with my clothes on. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do last night? Who am I here with? What is going on? I look over and I see a man, and he's just there, like sleeping on his back, very far on the other side of the bed. And I was just like, holy shit. I didn't know where my phone was, nothing. So I get up, I go outside into the living room, and I see a really big dog. It was a boxer. It was really cute. It was nice. So I'm just petting him. I find my phone. I see that Allegra sent me a bunch of text messages and had a bunch of missed calls from her. And she was like, the last text I got from her said, if you don't text me back, I'm going to tweet your dad. Because my dad was on Twitter. Yeah, I think my dad's still on Twitter. So I texted her. I let her know that I was safe. I was like, I'm sorry. I blacked out. I ended up going home with some guy. I don't know who he is. She was like, did you get raped? I was like, no, I did not get raped. Because I would have felt it. And my clothes wouldn't have been on. So, no, nothing happened to me. Thank God. Like, I know I have grandmas that pray for me, because that could have gone very, very left. Like, so left. So I woke up, and so the guy woke up finally, and I'm like, hi, like, who are you? He's like, my name is Diego. I was like, hi, Diego. How did I end up here? He was like, you don't remember leaving with me last night? And I was like, I do remember getting into your Mercedes, but how did I end up here? Like, I thought the plan was for you to take me back to my apartment on campus. He was like, yeah, it was, until we got to Coral Gables and you were like passed out in my car and you couldn't tell me where you lived. You couldn't tell me anything. Like, you were so non-functional. And I was like, damn, like, that's not good. So long story short, we get up, we make friends. He had weed for me, which was cool. We walked his dog. He took me back to Coral Gables and we became like kind of cool. He tried to get me to join It Works, actually. Now that I remember it, because I was just about to graduate from college and I needed, a job. And he was like, you should do this thing that like these ladies I know can put you on and they can help you be really successful. So glad I did not join It Works back then. Oh my God. Their compensation plan is trash. No offense to my friends that do It Works, but your compensation plan is trash. Yeah, so those are my stories. I was on TMZ with Desean Jackson. I got to party with Kyle Lowry and Rudy Gay, and I blacked out and passed out in some guy's car. He took me home, and I didn't get raped. Great times in Miami. So thank you once again for watching. You can follow me at Jess Medeiros on Instagram, and hopefully you'll tune in next week. Bye!